I would like to give a shout out here. There were some people that were critical of the decision by Myles Garrett earlier this offseason to not participate with the team at OTAs after signing that big contract and instead going to Japan to be with his girlfriend at the time. Some people were critical of it. They did not think that that was showing true leadership. I think that Myles Garrett is owed an apology. I think there should be an apology that comes immediately to Myles Garrett from people that were critical of him, because clearly he is showing leadership since Shedeur Sanders just got popped for going 41 miles an hour over the speed limit there in Ohio. So clearly the influence of Myles Garrett...
What does one have to do with the other?
Well, because Myles Garrett's had an issue with that. You know, he's had an issue with speeding, and there's been a couple of things that have popped up. Clearly, he was able to provide true leadership there in the sense that Shador Sanders is driving around Ohio early Tuesday morning, and the guy's driving 101 in a 60. I mean, what are we doing here? You know what I mean?
Those who have not speeded, be the first one to cast the stone.
I'm just...
No, it's not sped. Speeded.
Is it speeded?
I would think it would be sped.
Yeah, I thought it was sped.
Those who have not sped. Okay, you could be right.
Yeah, whatever.
You could be right.
Clean
I
it
like
up
speed it better.
Yeah.
No, I don't. We don't have to clean it up.
All right.
This talk radio. We talk every day on this bad boy.
We're changing it.
I'm changing it.
Yeah. All right. So Myles Garrett was caught speeded last year.
Dang.
And I think maybe the year before. Lee, can you double check how many times Myles Garrett's been popped for speeded in?
I've seen it at least twice with a high of 120.
Ooh.
100 miles per hour in 65 in 2020, also in 2022.
Yeah, that's true leadership. And for those of you that are trying to be critical of Myles Garrett, again, you owe the guy an apology. All right, Shedeur Sanders hasn't even taken a real snap with the team yet, and he's already going 41 miles an hour over the 60 speed limit there. I mean, I feel
speed,
like...
it is a word, too, by the way. It is a word. I might have used it improperly, but it is a word. It's proper grammar, just so we're clear.
Now,
can we talk about the bigger issue here?
Which is what? The fact that you said during the break?
Because it's not Myles Garrett being a proper example of how to drive over the speed limit. It's not him not being there for minicamp. It's, does this genuinely call for concern with Shedeur Sanders?
You said he should. You said he should be cut during the break. Did you not? Did you not say that?
No, I don't know why you jumping out there like that. I mean, because people take things and they run with it, and then there's the quote of the day. So redact that, please.
Yes,
take it back.
Take that one out, please.
Did I say anything to you about anything like that during the break, Jonas Knox?
No, sir, you did not.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so do not run with the fact that Jonas said, LaVar Arrington said during the break, like during our real conversations, that I said he should be cut, because I did not. In fact, my question becomes, the people that are going to cut him, I wonder, have they ever sped above the speed limit before? You know, have they ever gone close to 100 miles per hour in a 60 mile per hour zone? Like, when you hear it and it's somebody else, you know, you have an ability to be able to say, oh my gosh, you mean it was 60 miles per hour and they were going 100? You know, like, let me tell you something. The way these cars are made these days, it's not hard to hit 100 miles per hour the way it feels. I'm just telling you. It's not hard.
The first time,
and it doesn't feel like you're at 100 miles per hour.
The first time I was ever in a Tesla, the guy, it was in an Uber, and the guy got on the freeway, and I remember he was on the freeway on-ramp, and he was literally in traffic in a second and a half.
Bro, Teslas are
unbelievable
quick. So, and it's not, you know, and most people in California are driving Teslas. So this isn't a rich people problem. Don't make this like this is like, oh, this entitled kid. He yeah, for some of us like me, Jonas, we drive trucks. They can't even go past 40 miles per hour.
Hey, what's that supposed to mean?
We can't even go past 40 miles per hour. So forget Shedeur Sanders.
Hey.
Like, this isn't about talking about him being cut, bro. All this is a young man driving his car and got pulled over for speeding. It's as simple as that.
He was driving a truck. It was not a Cybertruck Tesla, but I believe it was a Dodge, if my memory serves me correct. So he was driving a Dodge truck, and he got up. Listen, any newer car can get you to where you want to go a lot faster than the old ones could. Now, you took a little bit of a pot shot at me there.
I did.
Completely disrespectful.
I'm sorry.
But also accurate.
Okay.
If my truck went over 100 miles an hour, it would literally disappear. Like, it would time warp back to 2006 when it was made and go,
Dang.
Let's start over again. This is a bad idea. This is not.
Do you believe in magic? And I hope you do. Start having memories of the truck when it was born.
God would literally wave a magic wand over my truck and go, voila, and it's back to 2006. Like, there's no shot my truck can get to 101.
Show you skipping around the truck, giving it hugs.
But one of the details that did come out in this was that apparently Shador Sanders, he can pay the $250 fine.
$250, okay.
Or he could fight it in court. Now, from personal experience, I tried to fight a speeding ticket in court. I showed up to court because it was way advanced, way after the ticket. And I showed up in court thinking, there's no way this cop's going to be here.
The cop's going to show up, and he showed up.
Before anything started, guy taps me on the shoulder and says, hey, just wanted to show you the proof of your speeding. And I literally got up and left. It's a waste of time. There's no chance. I'll go do driving school or whatever I got to do to make sure I don't have a point on my insurance record. But there's no chance in hell I'm going to win this based on the fact that guy showed up. And I'd imagine this guy will show up too. It's Shedeur Sanders.
Well, it doesn't matter if he fights it or if he doesn't. His personal business, how it impacts his insurance or anything like that, is a whole different conversation that isn't worth broaching. But in terms of how this is a story, because we all know that the elephant in the room is he is indeed the last string quarterback on a 5 quarterbacks on the roster team. That's what makes this a conversation. Is this egregious enough? If people want to be honest about why this is a topic, the topic of concern here is this bad enough for Shedeur Sanders to actually cost himself a job? And I would say, if you lean on the side of quarterbacks have a different level of accountability, a different level of responsibility, and how they conduct themselves and how they do things than other players, it could be perceived as a judgment call that this young man isn't ready to be a leader. And you open yourself up for that type of scrutiny and that type of criticism when you do things that, don't pan out the way that you like. He probably wasn't even thinking nothing of it. He's driving. He's probably either on his Bluetooth, his hands-free device, talking on the phone. He's maybe listening to his music. Cats be turning up while they be driving, listening to the music, whatever it may be, right? He probably wasn't paying no attention to the fact that he was speeding. And that very well could be the conversation that he has with the coaching staff. But I think that's what the transition to me goes to, is what was the conversation between Shedeur Sanders and the coaches that he has to talk to, because ultimately the only reason why this is a story is because of how much attention there has been paid to what do you do with Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? Does this dictate? Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I would imagine, and Jordan Addison waking up behind the wheel outside of LAX, problem. That's a problem. Okay, like that's a little bit of an issue. We need to have a discussion about that. And then him going to social media afterwards and posting a bottle of booze, like probably not. You know, that feels like that's a bit reckless. This could be a guy and that, to your point, didn't even realize he was speeding, but it also lends to the actual overall.
No, he knew he was speeding.
Well,
he probably knew he was speeding, but
didn't know it was 101.
Pretty much, hey man, pretty much everybody speeds. When you're driving on a highway, which I don't even know if he was on a highway. I'm assuming 60 miles per hour. He was on some type of a highway. Bro, everybody is generally driving above the speed limit. Like, make no mistake about that. Now, Is 40 miles per hour over the speed limit egregious? Yes, it is. There's no doubt about it. You're going fast. He knew he was going fast. Question it, like, there's so many different determining factors. Was he keeping up with traffic? Were there other cars going as fast as he was? You know, what was the scenario? Was he weaving? Was this reckless driving? Was he weaving in and out of traffic? I think if it's put in the proper context, then it allows for you to make a more accurate judgment of how good or how bad the offense was. But again, it comes down to the conversations he's going to have with his coaching staff, because ultimately the question now becomes, did he do something that makes it easier for Cleveland to move on from him? And I saw, once again, here we go. I'm a reference because I do listen to the other shows. I saw a comment from the one Rob Parker where he's basically saying they need to release him, they need to cut him right now, based off of that.
Rob.
I mean, come on, Rob. You calling for this man's job because he was speeding? Like, come on, Rob.
I saw Lizzie in my mouth.
I saw Rob get a parking ticket at KNBC when we were there, which he shouldn't have gotten, and he was walking through the parking lot like Denzel Washington in Training Day, looking to take somebody out. Like, he looked like the guy in The Wire, walking through the parking lot trying to take somebody out because he got a parking ticket on accident. If anybody should not be talking about traffic violations and how this should impact your career, it's Rob Parker. I saw it with my own two eyes after we did a TV show. What is he talking? I would love. There's no way he was able to keep a straight face with that take. There's no way. I'm not buying it. It's just.
I just think that there's going to be, now he did himself no favors by getting pulled over. But again, I think when you're in your own space, you're driving, you're doing what you're doing, your daily task. I mean, if we're being honest here, man, like, the dude was driving. If he was speeding, he was speeding. He got the ticket, pay the fine or challenge it, whatever. I think what makes it complicated is if he were intoxicated, if he were under the influence, like you mentioned earlier. That now makes it a conversation, Jonas. But him speeding, if he was racing, if it came out that he was street racing somebody, that's a problem. But there doesn't seem to be, from the reports that I've seen, it's just a simple, he was speeding, he got pulled over, Correct. He got a ticket. Keep it moving, man. And you know what I mean? Let's keep it moving.
But this also does point out the fact that this is a story because it's Shedeur Sanders. And this is, and people aren't, probably are going to maybe disagree with this, but there is something to being loud when you're not the starter. It's not a great place to be.
But that's not loud. He got pulled over.
But it's loud because, first of all, the time of year. Okay. The NBA Finals have gotten less interesting as the series has gone on, especially the past couple of days. And the time of year, the name that goes along with it, and the fact that if this was Dylan Gabriel, probably not a big story. If this was Kenny Pickett, probably not a big story. If it was Joe Flacco, probably not a big story. He's the loudest and most talked about name in that room. And so because of it, he's going to get talked about ad nauseum because it's Shedeur Sanders and the quote-unquote brand and aura that he brings with him. The guy sped a little bit. He got popped. He wasn't drinking and driving. This wasn't a DUI situation. He didn't have some story made up. Remember, Jordan Addison also had a story made up to where he was speeding because he was trying to get his dog to the vet. I got news for you. If a cop's behind me and I'm trying to get my dog to the vet, I'm throwing that thing out the window, okay? Sorry.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I got news for you. If my dog is dying and I can save him and I'm rushing him to the pet emergency room, that cop is going to have to meet me there, and he can arrest me.
Not me.
At the place where I'm taking my dog.
I'm blaming the dog.
I'm not blaming. Listen, and it is what it is. It is what it is. If Mr. Sticks needed me to get him to the emergency room, you're gonna have to follow me to the emergency room.
And in fact, you know what I would do? I would actually put the dog in the driver's seat, and I'd hop in the passenger seat he could take the fall.
You're so stupid.
And I'll deal with the repercussions when I get home. Okay.
Can I put a bow on this? Let me put a bow on this from my perspective of Shedeur Sanders. There's a few ways to look at it. The first way is this offense an out for the Cleveland Browns?
No.
Do they leverage this as, here's our golden ticket hand delivered on a platter to us to be able to part ways with Shedeur Sanders?
No.
That's option number one. Option number two is you show Shedeur Sanders that you believe in him, and mistakes are made. You got a ticket, pay your ticket. Try not to get speeding tickets, Shedeur. Like, slow it down. Don't do anything that's going to bring this type of attention on to you. Get in the locker room, get in the training room, get in the meeting room, whatever. See you at practice. Is it just as simple as you made a mistake, moving on, or is this the opportunity for them to say, yep, this is something that we can leverage without getting, because it would take something crazy for them to get out from under cutting Shedeur Sanders. What is your reasoning for doing it? And this could be the possible, way that they can leverage something to let him go.
You want to know why it's not an out for the Browns to get away from Shedeur Sanders? Because the Browns already had an out to get away from Shedeur Sanders. It was called the first 4 rounds of the draft.
Dang.
They want it in.
They allowed too many highlights to come out, bro. They could not leverage his draft. They could not leverage his draft pick for any further than what they were going to be able to do when they first drafted him. After all of the OTA highlights that came out and continuous coverage of Shedeur Sanders, they're not going to be able to let him go based upon where he was drafted, because there's too much justification that he can play at that level from the highlights that have been released repeatedly of what he's doing in practices.
Do you think if he shows up to court to fight the ticket that Mel Kiper will also show up for support? Do you think that'll happen?
And tell the judge that this is just a man that there's not enough scrutiny on, or there's too much scrutiny on him, and you guys don't know how quarterbacks drive trucks. And I don't know, man.
Mel Kiper will blame the traffic people and say, well, the speed limit sign wasn't visible enough for Shedeur, so that's why you should not have to pay this $250. Maybe Mel will pay half of it.
Just really unfortunate. Yeah. It's just really, truly unfortunate that you got to take something as trivial as getting pulled over for speeding. And again, the only reason why I'm saying it, because I'm not saying break the law. I mean, hell, I was speeding this morning. I was speeding. I think I was doing 50 and a 35 this morning. Like, sorry, I was just driving. I was driving my son's car. It's a muscle car. It's one of them Chargers or whatever. Not the Charger. What's the bigger body ones? Not the Charger, but the other one. What is that?
Prius?
The SRTs.
Yeah,
bro, come on. Anyway, I was driving his car, and it's fast. It's a strong car. So I'm driving. I'm not purposely or being dismissive of the speed limit. I'm just driving.
Yeah.
So if there's nothing connected to him speeding, it's just a speeding ticket. Moving on. There's no reason to have no hot take, Rob, on saying this man needs to be cut immediately because he got cited for a speeding ticket. Like, get out of here with that, OG. If y'all hadn't noticed, I'm taking pop shots at Rob Parker until I get it out of my system that some of these people at Fox Sports Radio. Like, I know I was one of these people. It was my quote directly. So I'm going at OG a few more times until I get it all out because I'm petty.
And by the way, Lee, why don't you cut this up and send it over to Robert Guerra and let Rob get a whiff of this?
I'm petty.